Framework is a new laptop company that burst onto the scene around 3 years ago. Their claim to fame is that their laptops are fully upgradable, and they have excellent Linux support. Well, they have finally come out with a version of their Framework 13 with Intel's Core Ultra processor. For those who love what Framework brings to the table, this version is incrementally better. There are improvements in power efficiency, heat and fan noise. But you might be surprised to learn that you aren't getting a huge boost in performance over their previous Intel version, or one at all, when compared to their Framework 13 with AMD Zen 4. Now, if you're an average laptop buyer just interested in whether you can get an upgradable laptop that's on par in terms of overall quality with the latest from other manufacturers, unfortunately you'll be underwhelmed.
In Geekbench, which tests a variety of common performance tasks, this new framework outperforms both its previous versions with AMD and Intel. In Cinebench, however, which tests the laptop when performance is maxed out, it performs worse than the older framework with AMD Zen 4. We were skeptical of these results, so we reran the tests again and confirmed our data was still accurate with the most recent Windows updates. Compared to the performance of other competing laptops around this price point, it's simply uncompetitive. When looking at power draw, you can see why. Framework only feeds at a max of around 45 watts, but it averages down to 30 watts under continuous load. This max is a little lower than prior models, although the average is unchanged. At this power draw, this Intel processor just isn't competitive, especially compared to those of other manufacturers. Moving on to integrated graphics, that is where the Core Ultra chip in this laptop does improve over prior generations. In TimeSpy, it scores better than the other frameworks despite its CPU doing worse, and the same goes for Wildlife Extreme. But it still performs worse than many competing laptops. Now, under these demanding loads, the CPU doesn't get that hot at 77 degrees Celsius. This is likely because it's not fed that much power. Unfortunately, even though they've kept the CPU itself cooler, you still notice some heat. When using the device in light use, the right palm rest warmth is particularly noticeable. I found it tolerable, but Josh and Taylor found it distracting and uncomfortable. This may be due to the laptop's limited cooling from its single-fan design. There is good news with the fan noise, though. With the step up to Core Ultra, the laptop was dead silent during light tasks, and quieter than prior generations under max load. One upgrade you may want is Framework's new fast refresh rate display. It gives you 2.8K resolution, which upgrades you from 200 ppi to over 250, and allows you to avoid fractional scaling in Linux. It also gives you 500 nits of brightness and slightly increased color accuracy. Best of all, it ups your refresh rate to 120 Hz. This is a much-needed update. One disappointing thing is that this isn't an option if you simply buy their pre-built Core Ultra from the website. Personally, I'm going to want the device to arrive ready to use, even if I value upgradability. So it's frustrating that I don't have that option if I want the better screen. As a whole, the laptop looks almost identical to prior generations in that it looks boring. The only new visual stylings are that you can get colored bezels and USB-C ports. I think the red is kind of cool, but they appear as a bit of an afterthought and rather Frankenstein-y. The device simply does not feel as premium as competing laptops in this price point. There is also some screen and keyboard deck flex. The positives are that it is portable at just under 3 pounds, and its charger is tiny. The aluminum finish is also fingerprint resistant. The keyboard, which is the same as prior generations, is one of the nicest I have used on a laptop. I would even call the typing experience enjoyable. It has ample key travel and a completely standard layout. It doesn't replace the right control key with the Copilot key like most modern Windows laptops. I definitely like this. Josh feels that the keyboard is good, but has kind of slipped down the rankings with other new keyboards that have come out. The trackpad also seems to be the same as prior versions. It is fine for a mechanical one, but about middle of the pack. That being said, it isn't as accurate as trackpads on devices at this price point like the Surface or MacBook Air. Now let's take a quick moment to show you how the speakers sound on the framework. We find the speakers to be pretty bland, shallow, and overall unpleasant. This lines up with previous generations. On the other hand, the port selection on this laptop is definitely one of the best and most innovative parts of the Framework laptop. Other than the included headphone jack, Framework uses a customizable expansion card design. This means that there are 4 card slots that you can utilize in whatever way works best for you. And thanks to it being an Intel device, all 4 of these ports are Thunderbolt capable. From a newly available fast SD card reader to 2.5 gig Ethernet or DisplayPort Gen 2, there are so many ways that you can customize these ports to fit your needs. You can also order extra to swap them out. This is surely one of the coolest things about the laptop. As far as connectivity goes, it comes with Wi-Fi 6E. As with everything in these laptops, the Wi-Fi card is replaceable, but it would have been nice if it came with Wi-Fi 7. Just to speak on upgradability for a second, the whole thing is upgradable. Only one screw type is used, it comes with the tool in the box, and there are detailed instructions online. It's as easy as it's going to get, and Framework dominates in this category. Now let's go over battery life. For our results, we tested with both the newer and the older screens to provide the most comprehensive data. On battery, the laptop's performance is dropped fairly significantly. After a 30-minute Cinebench test on the older screen, the Framework ends up with 69% battery remaining. On the newer screen, 73%. Tomato, tomato. For lighter use, shown by our Netflix test, it had 74% remaining with the older screen and 60% with the newer one. This shows us that the new screen is definitely having a negative effect on battery life.
The version we initially received cost around $1,500, and that has the older screen. If you wanted to build it yourself with the new screen and SD card reader, it will cost you $1,750. And this brings me to my main point of concern with these laptops. For an average buyer, their cost is so high for what is unfortunately a poorer performing chip in an outdated chassis. For a similar price, you could get a much more powerful laptop with dedicated graphics like the Asus Zephyrus G14 or ProArt PX13. Or if you just want something lightweight that's premium, a similarly spec'd MacBook Air. For someone though who truly demands an upgradable laptop though, or wants excellent Linux support, the Framework is unique and it can't be beat. And as we've shown you, this year's update does bring you incremental improvements. You now have access to a better screen and other things like a fast SD card reader, which is certainly unique in a laptop this size. As an aside, Framework is a smaller company and they have done amazing to achieve what they have. One word of advice though that I'd give them after having reviewed their Framework 16, which was a little disappointing, is less is more. Maybe if they hadn't diverted resources to producing that laptop, this one would have been out earlier with Intel's Core Ultra and be releasing right now with an AMD Zen 5 version. That would have made this laptop more competitive. Make sure to check out our website for all the laptops that we recommend for various types of users and where to go to get the best deals on them. If you want to support our mission to bring you high quality, unbiased reviews with as little sponsorship as possible, become a Patreon subscriber or YouTube member, link in the description. Regardless, please like, subscribe and share to continue to support the team and what we do here. It makes all our dearest parents very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day and we will catch you later.